Hello everybody, welcome back once again. Got another quick Octopath Traveler 2 video for you here. This time we're doing the Ochette and Hunter specific character guide. Um, I really like Ochette, probably the best breaker in the entire game. But let's start off with her path actions, talent, and latent power. So path action during the day is Provoke. Honestly, I rarely use this. I think that I just like using other characters more. Um, One of her best monsters, though, for doing kind of like the duels with Provoke is the Devious Dolphin that can be found out on the sea. It's a little bit more of a rare encounter, but it's really crazy because it's basically like using a bottle of nightmares, which is a really, really cool item for kind of like doing duels, right? It sleeps, poisons, blinds, and then I think it might like confuse as well. I can't remember the fourth ability or the fourth status effect, but pretty crazy. So she ends up being a kind of an okay dueler, but honestly, I just like Hikari better, and they can both duel during the day, so I prefer to use him. Her path action during night is befriend, so it says befriend and lead a townsperson around. Um, this one is okay, although I have problems with summoned, townspeople in that there's like some randomness in the abilities that they use, so I tend to not really use that much. But befriend is still pretty decent in that you can get people like Elrond, and you'll use like kind of like jerky type items or meat of some sort, right, to hire them. If you're using Ochette, and I do recommend using Ochette pretty much at all times, so that you can continually be capturing monsters and kind of acquiring more of the meat items, and to use for befriending. But that said, again, as far as actually summoning the character in during battle, I don't really like it that much. All right, so talent is capture beasts, summon them into battle, and prepare recovery items and more. Maybe that's obvious. Like she is your monster tamer, and she can use those items then in battle. And some of them are insane. It's a really really cool aspect to the game, and much better than the original game. I think that Octopath 1 was okay in the whole monster summoning thing, but this is just a whole nother level, and it actually is a lot better. And then her latent power is Animal Instinct, so it says let instants take hold and unlock special skills. So she's got a couple of different abilities there. She can attack all enemies, she can debuff all enemies, or she can do a single target, like really strong attack. It's just really solid. Her debuff is both a physical defense and elemental defense down, and I think it lasts like 3 turns. So also, you can put BP into it and make it last even longer. It's a very, very good ability. And the other great thing is it's flexible, right? So maybe you want to just use latent power in every battle, right, for random encounters, and you can do that if you've got the full power ability on her from the merchant. And yeah, so you can actually spam that every single random encounter as well if you want, and that's a pretty solid way to use her. But yeah, very very good latent power. I like the flexibility. That's just kind of the thing that I like the most about it. But anyways, all right. So let's jump into the hunter job itself, her skills in particular, and then we'll talk combos after. All right, so starting out here with Precise Shot. Very cheap. It says unleash a bow attack on selected foes 2 times. This is a really good ability because you can put a bunch of BP into it, and then you actually get to select who you use this ability on. So it'll always hit 2, but if you put 1 BP into it, it'll be 3. 2 BP will be 4, and then 3 or maximum BP you can select 5 times. Very very good ability. And makes it so that you can break enemies that have kind of a low shield amount, and be specific about it though, right? Like maybe one enemy has 4 shields and one enemy only has 1 left. Well, you choose Precise Shot on the single once, and then you put all the rest of them into the final enemy, and then boom, you'll have both of them broken. So again, very very cool ability. One of the best actually that the hunter gets. Thunderbird or Thunderbirdie, which is adorable, and I would sometimes just cast this to hear Ochette say Thunderbirdie. It's hilarious. But lightning-based damage to a single foe. Now, this isn't as good as something like the Scholars, but it's a way, I guess, to get a little bit of of an element into her kit. But I don't really use this that much, other than for the novelty aspect. Cleaving Blow. Unleash a powerful attack on a single foe and grant yourself a positive stats effect based on the foe's type. I didn't really use this that much, but it is decent. It's a way that she can kind of buff herself. But that also, again, depends on the foe's type. So, I don't know, this is not that great, but it's okay. Mercy Strike. Don't think I used this even a single time. Unleash a bow attack on a single foe. Otherwise lethal attacks will instead leave the target with 1 HP. I assume this hits hard, but I've never used it. Take Aim, raise the critical rate and accuracy of all allies for 2 turns. This is kind of nice because it's just automatically all allies. And increasing the crit rate and accuracy is pretty decent. This is really good if you're using Hikari with the Frenzied Fire. One of my favorite abilities of his is Frenzied Fire. Problem with that ability is that it's very inaccurate, so this can help that out. Leg Hold Trap. This is great for fighting Kates and Octopuffs, as well as some bosses as well. Cause a single foe to act at the end of the turn for 2 turns. Very, very good. Put a bunch of BP into this, and it will last even longer. Fairly cheap as well, but like I said, a great way to take down Kates and Octopuffs. Abating Orb. Nullify one of a single foe's augmenting effects. Never even use this. I generally think that there's better things to do with your turns than taking their effects away. There are sometimes cases where this is good, but I basically never used it. And then here's Drifendi's Bow. This is great. Unleash a powerful bow attack on all foes 3 times. So it's kind of like a poor man's Frenzied Fire, but I don't think it has the accuracy issues that does. So this is still pretty good. But problem is that this is a divine skill, so it's going to take more BP to use this, which means that for random encounters, you're not really going to be using this. There's no way to get enough BP immediately to be able to use this. Obviously, you could have, if you've got a merchant or somebody restoring BP to Ochette, as long as she isn't acting first, then you could be using this, but I don't tend to do that. I think that it does have uses, though, and, attack on all foes is really, really good. And so this is going to be decent for shredding shields, but it's also pretty strong as well. All right, so for her skills, or her specific, or Ochette-specific hunter skills, we've got Indomitable Beast, raise your physical attack, evasion, and speed for 3 turns. I barely ever use this. I don't even know that I ever used it. Nah, I must have used it at least once or twice. But the good thing is it's 3 turns, and it's 3 buffs all rolled into one, but I don't know. I think that there's just kind of better things to do with your turns than that. But I guess, if you want to use that, go ahead. And then Provoke Beast, which is one of the most broken skills in the entire game. Select 3 monsters and provoke them in order. If you put more BP into this, you can summon up to 6 monsters at maximum, which is insane. Ochette is also broken right now in that you can summon, or you can provoke beasts, and you can provoke boss monsters. It's not, I don't think it's intended. I think it's a bit of a bug right now. Maybe someday they'll fix it, but as of right now, you can still do it. I'll show you that here in a second, and why that's so broken. But let's go into the support skills. So heightened senses, gain an increased chance of attacking first in battle. I think that this is almost entirely pointless. The ability that the inventor gets, as long as you've got 2 inventions, is a step ahead, and it's better than this. So I recommend using that instead of this. Eagle Eye raises the equipping character's critical rate by 50. Fine once or at the beginning of the game when you don't have any other options, but this is not very good. More rare monsters. Now, this is great, especially if you are trying to farm Octopuffs and Kates, and kind of just a good ability to have, for random encounters. This is not good, if you're just about to do a boss battle, so you'd want to take that off. But and then Salt the Wound. Equipping character has a 50% chance of acting twice when breaking a foe. This will not trigger in succession. pretty solid ability, but towards the end of the game, I never really used it. I just think that there were so many other good abilities. And the problem with this is then this character is the one that has to do the breaking, right? And that just isn't always going to work out well. So that's why I don't really like this that much. Probably better for things like duels and like, you know, maybe even using this on, I don't know, Hikari or somebody who's going to be, or Oswald that's going to be dueling can be good. Oh, I mean, Ochette as well if you're provoking, but don't really end up using this much at all. So that is it for the Hunter as well as her specific stuff. So let's talk her what I like to keep her as. So I actually like her as Thief for boss battles. I actually really like her as Scholar though, but that kind of goes for everybody. I really like Scholar just because it has so many different elements that you can take advantage of, and you know it's kind of one of those deals where it's, you know, give somebody a good staff and use that BP, you know, use the BP boost right off the jump and just blow everything up. But if you're doing full power instead, you know, you'll want to go with more of a physical route anyway, and you can kind of do things, I mean, kind of in a similar way, but just using her latent power every time instead, right, for those random encounters. Which case, again, I think that Thief is going to be a solid class for her. Excuse me. So I've got her set up like this. I've got the Lost Tribe stuff on her and the Blessing in Disguise. So Blessing in Disguise says turns or negative values on other equipment into positives. Reason why I did this was because there just isn't that many characters that this works that well on. And a lot of what Ochette is doing in my case is breaking monsters. And a lot of times the equipment that she's got doesn't really make that much of a difference because eventually your monsters are going to cap out at 9,909 damage anyway. So most of the time this stuff doesn't really work. And so this was more like a novelty deal where I was like, all right, well, let's figure out if I can, you know, throw this on somebody, and she just usually ends up being that person. But yeah, you know, otherwise, I think that a battle-tested blade works really well, especially so if you're doing a boss battle, you can do like battle-tested. You know, granted though, these are going to be limited, and unless you've farmed a bunch of these, it's going to be better on somebody else. But you can do that battle-tested blade, and then battle-tested dagger on her, and use Abers. But you know, that's going to be really similar to what Throne is doing. But I think her strength really comes from breaking, and so I don't tend to load her up on a lot of really good equipment because other people kind of need it more. So yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. Let's take a look at the support skills before I'll do an actual battle here and just show you the bug. But as usual here, Vigorous Victor, step ahead, boost start, more rare monsters. Again, another really good passive though for her would be full power. Again, to make sure that she's starting out or with full latent power every single battle, so that she can use her latent. Still use the boost start though with that, right? So you're doing even more damage because of that extra BP. Step ahead though, again, just solid for everybody. Vigorous Victor, again, really great for random encounters. It's just going to keep you healthy, going to keep you capped out on SP or restore your SP automatically after every fight. I love that. It's just for convenience, right? So yeah, that's kind of, in my opinion, her best setups and support skills. Let's go into a battle though. I'll show you this bug really quickly, and why she's just so broken. Run around here just a little bit. Hey, look at that! What do you know? All right, so actually, let's start out here with oops. Oh, what is wrong with me? Oh, this is, yeah. This is not Particio, which I thought it was, which is funny, but I may just blow this guy up. I don't really want to. Oh, here, let's use the latent. So this is just gonna kill this Queen Octopath. The queens are actually pretty weak, but otherwise, actually, let's just defend. I'll just show you here. One of the great things about using her is this leg hold trap. So it's going to move this thing's turn back, and then we'll get plenty of other turns. So like right now I've got Throne acting, then Casti. The following turn it's going to be Oswald acting, then Throne, then Ochette, then Casti again. Then the Octopath Queen will finally get a turn. So no worries about this thing getting away, unless I completely whiff here. Let's see here. 3 weeks. Wow. All right, let's blow them up. There we go. All right, I'll just defend here. All right, so let's take a look at this this bug. So basically, what you want to do here is go down into provoke beasts, use your BP, or max out your BP. So now it says 6 remaining. Then hit latent power, then deactivate latent power, then go into beast lore and provoke, and then you can use whatever you want, as many, up to 6 times. So I'm just going to use Devourer of Dreams. Devourer of Dreams is one of the most broken monsters in the entire game, and definitely something that I recommend. Actually, before I do this, let's talk about these monsters as well. You know, these are your legendary monsters. You'll always have those once you get them. I went with Akala. I like Akala better than the Owl. There's just a lot of monsters in the game that only have physical weaknesses and do not have elementals, and so I prefer Akala. Cataracta I barely ever used. I don't think that's a very good monster. Terra and Glacius, though, are really good because they cover a lot of different elements and they hit multiple times. The Headless Horseman is solid because it hits all enemies with a sword attack and buffs all of your allies with a physical damage buff. So I love that one. Ancient Bird King 2 does a bow attack on all, only once though, unfortunately, but it does also add a elemental buff to everybody as well, or elemental attack buff, which I really like, especially because I'm really, you know, kind of oriented towards magic. Peekaboo is a solid attack. It hits all ally or enemies and also has a chance to reduce the target's elemental defense and physical defense. So kind of 2 buffs or 2 debuffs in one. I really like that monster as well. Dreadwolf, just solid. It hits with a dagger attack 4 times. So this thing really shreds shields. It says it can only be summoned once per battle, but with the bug you can summon it as many times as you want. You could summon it 6 times right in a row for 24 dagger hits, which is insane. Excuse me, but yeah, he's amazing. Also, the Ancient Frog King too. So this is double cleave, and it hits all. It's basically an axe attack against all enemies twice. So great way to shred shields by using a axe attack. So let's use the Devourer of Dreams though, and I'll just show you. So the Devourer of Dreams is crazy broken because it does a dark attack. Doesn't do that much damage here, but the benefit to this thing is it actually gives you the chance to. Or it gives you buffs, so it gives you the buff that allows you to evade 1 physical attack, but it also gives you 1 stack of reflect, and it's to all allies. So if you use that 6 times, you get 6 physical attack, you know, dodges, or however you want to state that, and 6 reflects on everybody. Crazy skill, but that is pretty much it for Ochette. As I said, I really like her. She's one of the best characters in the game, and actually my recommendation is that you finish her final chapter before anybody else's. I rushed it my second playthrough. I made sure that she basically was the first character that I did all of the stories for, finished, and then kind of took advantage of that Provoke Beast skill because it's so good. She is the best breaker in the entire game, hands down. So anyways, that is going to be it for this one. As always, hope the guide was helpful, and thanks for watching.